Virgos. Hello and welcome to Gaia GPS. We had a little interesting technical thing to start off. I'm here with Hollow's Tail. I am Mimi. I'm here also with Nicole Oman.
Hello.
Who's here for another week. Yay! Which is good because we have a interesting, big, deep week to work through. So I'm really interested to see all that will come up. We're beginning this week with the moon shifting into Virgo. So right now, as we record, we have the moon in Libra. The moon will shift, not moon in Libra, moon in Leo. Moon in Leo. The moon will shift into Virgo tomorrow evening, 5:40 p.m. Pacific time. So that's Tuesday evening. So with the moon shift into Virgo, it's good. It's taking us into these healing waters. We need this Virgo energy, I feel, to like prepare us for later this week. We have Chiron, the wounded healer, preparing to go retrograde. Chiron, in the astrology format I follow, what I believe is a co-ruler of Virgo energy. So here we have the moon in Virgo, which is like, here we're getting you prepared. We're having you listen into your body. And I've definitely got some very interesting cards. I'm actually going to start with these two that I have. So both of them in reverse. I have the sacral chakra from, what is this? Angel Therapy. And then I have the hungry ghosts in reverse from Wisdom of the Hidden Realms. I'm using this deck. I haven't used this deck in a really long time. And you know, this card, the Hungry Ghosts, what it's talking about is obsession, scarcity consciousness, and attachment. And the Hungry Ghost talks about our attachment to this feeling of lack, that we're getting sucked into this feeling of lack. And it's so interesting because here we have the sacral chakra, which is kind of that same thing. The sacral chakra is one of the places of our creativity. It's like the home of our creativity. It's the home of our powerful Shakti energy. So with these two energies reversed, it's like you're not paying attention to what's really going on without you, outside of, or not without you, within you. You're not paying attention to what's going on within. You're more paying attention to what's going on without. And so this is really interesting in regards to Cancer energy, which we have the sun in Cancer. Sun in Cancer wants that security. It wants to feel good. Cancer energy does not want to feel lack. Cancer wants to feel solid. Like, okay, I've got a nest egg, I'm okay. So this is a call with this moon in Virgo to get into these energies that may be coming up. Where in your consciousness, where in your physical body, in your energetic systems, in your chakras, are you holding on to this black energy? Because black is just this illusion we get sucked into. And I'm going to actually read a little bit of this. The hungry ghosts come to challenge. It's a sign that you've succumbed to the fear of lack, which is whispering in your ear that you'll fail. Whatever it is you've intended, you've stayed too long in the desiring stage. Longing and yearning have become your constant state of mind. Are you comparing your existence with others? Do you envy their success? Do you judge yourself on only the outside, on your material accomplishments? Are you afraid that there'll never be enough of anything and none of your dreams will be there upon awaking in reality? Perhaps you've turned to compulsive eating, shopping, working, drinking to distract yourself. These are the comforts I've been talking about. You know, I'm like, let's nurture ourselves instead of seeking these outside comforts, because they're avoiding the hungry ghosts within. They're avoiding this pain that you're working to cover up within. Let go of the illusion of lack. Accept things as they are, perfect, abundant, meaningful expressions of the divine. There will never be enough for the hungry ghosts that challenge you. For the only experience they know is scarcity. It's not your job to feed them. They will lose your power to haunt you. Trust the abundance of spirit. So that's the hungry ghost energy. But like, my feeling is working this energy of the sacral chakra, focusing on it. So the sacral chakra is almost like, it's like, to me, the energy, like, that's kind of the bowl of the pelvis, the bowl of the pelvis, actually feeling into that. What do you feel in that place? Do you feel the emptiness? Do you feel the fullness of life that actually exists there? Do you feel the fullness of the love energy that exists there? Do you feel the fullness of feminine Shakti energy that exists there, and moving that in and through you to help step back into your power. Because my feeling is being in scarcity, being in lack, you're giving your power away. So this moon in Virgo is like, let's find this healing here because we've got work to do through this week. That being said, I have some interesting cards from Osho. I'm going to start here. I have the Lover's card. So there's a few different ways of looking at this. First and foremost, I'm going the self-love route. That's my favorite. That's the antidote to everything. Are you loving yourself? Are you showing up for yourself? Don't be looking for love in all the wrong places. Nobody can fill these empty spots within you. Do not be putting, here's the laziness card, do not be putting your fulfillment, your personal work on anything or anyone else. So that means, it's funny because I just told Nikki before this that I just bought a whole bunch of chocolate because Cancer season, because PMS, but don't be putting it on anything else. You've got to do the work. Fortunately, chocolate and all, I will show up for the work. But just notice where you may be compromising yourself, compromising this work, passing it by, bypassing, spiritual bypassing, whatever you want to call it. Because the universe is like, got work to do. Based on Nikki and my conversation beforehand, this is gonna be a week. So show up in this self-love for yourself. What do you need at this time to nurture yourself? Go within and look, not just like the outside, I need a new comforter. I love that, you know, like I love that outside expression, but really working the inside. Moon in Virgo really wants us to focus on reality. What's reality? Reality is your experience of what's going on. What do you experience everything that's going on with? Your body. So your body can tell you what's really going on. And if you are, oh, I can't wait to see how Nikki goes with this. If you are not feeling good, if you have physical stuff going on that you're taking medications for, or that you're trying to cover up with kale, you know, or chocolate, whatever it may be, this is the time to go deeper. That's the feeling I'm getting with this Virgo moon. Go deeper. Meanwhile, from the goddesses, goddess energy to help us through, because we need some good feminine energy to help us. I have Artemis, guardian. You and your loved ones are safe and spiritually protected. And I think sometimes we are afraid to go dig into some of these things because it feels scary. Call on a guardian to help walk with you, be with you in and through this energy, and trust that you are being guided through these layers, through these levels that you may go through. Nikki?
Yeah, I mean, I think this whole week is going to be a little complicated, so I'm trying as a practitioner to like ease you guys in a little gently with this. So, and I want to also give you some practical things to do just because I think a lot of these energies might feel, it might be emotionally overwhelming. They might come up as sensations in the body, especially as we go into the moon in Virgo, because Virgo is making what is seeing what's really happening, and sometimes it manifests in the body. So the body will give you a sensation, or it might give you a health issue, or it might give you something to really give you a physical thing to see and to deal with. So what I'm getting in this is I want to give you a little bit of practical information, because you might wake up with a feeling of a heartbreak, or you might actually wake up with a feeling of indigestion or whatever that is. So I'm going to show you, and I really want you to do a little bit of what I'm calling an obsession or an addiction inventory. The card that I'm getting, and I pulled the Rider-Waite today because I wanted to have a little bit more of a practical approach to this, because we have a lot of Cancer energy. We have some things in Pisces. We have Pluto, you know, not Pluto. We have, what do we have? Neptune in Pisces, and we have Chiron in Pisces, and that's going to retrograde. So I have the Devil card in reverse. This is materialism. This is addiction. This is obsession. This is feeling bonded to something or feeling contracted to something that's not serving in you anymore. And in this energy, with it being reversed, which I like it being reversed, is it's giving you an opportunity to have a way out. That you don't have to be chained to the addiction or chained to an obsession. So what I'm getting in this, there's the harmony card in the past position, and there's the existence card. So taking ownership of what we might feel a little powerless in our heads. So those obsessions, what do you use? One of the words that came up, what do we use to fill a void? So if there is an insecurity that's coming up for you, or there's something, it might just be something that always is in your head, and you're just, it's kind of part of your routine at this point. So what do you do when you fill a void? Do you go to food? Do we go to prescription medications? Do we go through porn? Do we go, and with that sacral energy, it might be something sexual. So this is not at all about feeling shame about this. This is just what I'm getting is the existence card and the aloneness card to really show up for yourself so you can, see it in a different way, right? So see it as like, okay, that's my go-to. Without the shame, that's a very matter-of-fact thing. Okay, that's what kind of just spins in my head. I really want to go watch a porn right now. It's like, or I really want to go eat chocolate, or I really want to go eat a bag of Oreos, or whatever that is for you. When we do the inventory, so this will go into taking action about this, but it's really about taking the addiction inventory without judgment. Okay, so that's what it is. That's my coping skill. That's my coping mechanism. That's how I cope when I feel this way. When you get to know yourself in that way, what's good is, does that serve you now, or does it not serve you? If it doesn't serve you anymore, if this is something you've been doing for 20 years and you have a weight issue, okay, well, it happened in my physical body. Does that make you feel good about yourself? So when you realize that it's not making you feel good about yourself, or it's not serving you, or it's not serving your body, or you are on all these prescription medications and you have 1,000 different other, they keep showing me the, like those commercials where there's 87, like, this can cause depression and your toes itching and like all these different other symptoms, you know, like the weird things that happen. And then
I especially love when they add "or death" at the end. I can't tell you how many times "or death" I hear, and I'm like,
okay. Or you might commit suicide and have hallucinations, and like, it's a wait a minute. So what we do always has, what they're showing me is like a cause and effect, right? So they're giving me this to be fair. So once you make a decision to do something, it will always have a side effect. So the good decisions we make have positive side effects. The bad things that we do, or not the bad things, I hate that word. The things that don't serve us will also do something. So this is a really fantastic opportunity to take that inventory and then maybe find not something that's like enlightened and like way up here, like to do instead, but like a next step. What's the best thing for you? Maybe talking to your doctor to get you off of that. Maybe giving yourself a health plan to lose the weight, or if it's like giving yourself boundaries in this kind of energy so you don't go to that addiction, and then finding the deeper place, because usually what we're trying to do is heal a symptom, not the actual core problem. And I think the core problem ends up being, let me look, what is it connected to? It's definitely connected to some old woundings. The isolation card. I'm also getting that it's connected to feeling like a victim of your own life. Of feeling like instead of like really taking ownership or really being able to feel empowered in your life, it's going back into that victim, and then the victim triggers the addiction. right? So there's a lot of information here. I know. You're going to go through layers of this. Take one step at a time. Start with the thing that you can work with the best, which is taking that addiction or the obsession inventory, and then maybe finding another step-by-step plan for yourself. You're being guided through this. You're being guided through this. You don't have to do this alone. And you might even find a good professional who has some spiritual understanding or emotional understanding on what you're going through, or somebody who walked that path. If you have an addiction, it is going to AA and getting a sponsor because they walk that path. And it's really good to find people who have empathy, not just a doctor that's telling you to like, take this drug, don't worry, you'll be fine. It's like, wait, can we find other people who walk that path to hold our hand through that and also give us the hope and give us the inspiration that we can get through it. And empathy will always go farther than somebody who is just there's one thing to learn it from a book, and there's one thing to learn it from experience. And you might need some people in your life right now that have been through this experience to help you get out of that food addiction, sex addiction, drug addiction, alcohol addiction, chocolate addiction, relationship, codependency addiction, whatever comes up for you. Doesn't matter. We all have one. I had the man thing. I did it with validation from men. And I also, when I was younger, was a binge drinker. So we all have them. It's not to be ashamed of. You can walk through it.
Oh, I love that. Well, I think this is prepping us perfectly for our next transit. So our next transit has the moon shifting into Libra. That is going to be Friday. Now, this moon in Libra is taking us through some stuff. This moon in Libra is taking us into our Chiron retrograde. We have Chiron going retrograde on Friday evening. It's also taking us into cardinal cross energy, which is not, gosh, none of the crosses are easy, but especially the cardinal signs engaged. For me, it's like they're the warriors and they are going to fight for what they want. So this is taking us into this cardinal cross energy that we are going to be working with on and off in through that full moon, but it's really going to be strong the first 2 days of July. And with this moon in Libra, I've got some interesting cards. So I'll show you the first 3 cards I pulled. And I was like, okay, give me a little bit more information. I mean, I got a story. The next 2 cards I pulled for more information: intensity and slow down. And then I have the creativity card, and I have this from the beginning. What is it? Schizophrenia in reverse. And that's the feeling that I'm getting with these cards. The world in reverse too. It's like you're going in circles. That cause and effect that Nikki just talked about, we're going in circles. Speed up, slow down, do this, do that. Libra energy is so fascinating. And with the moon, Jupiter hanging out in Libra, one of the biggest Libra lessons I see over and over again in Libras, in strong Libra charts, is not seeking harmony within ourselves, but finding that harmony without. And we keep finding that harmony without, and we're going to make that harmony happen outside. And it's keeping us going around in these circles because we have not yet found the center. So it's like, speed up, slow down. How do you want me to move? I'll move the way you want me to move. And we have not reached the core of the lesson, which is being true to ourselves. So this is where this is the first thing that I saw with the cards. I have Gaia's Garden in reverse, which is about reaping what you sow, which is about like you're not bringing forth your gifts that you have to give. You have flowers to plant. You have beauty to share with the world. And look at that in alignment with the miser. Same energy. You have gifts to share. But if you are out of harmony with yourself, if you're in this game where you're like, speed up, slow down, whatever you want from me, I can't make a decision for myself, so I'm going to decide based on what the world wants, then you're going to be holding yourself outside of this. You're not able to bring forth your gifts. And that's where the torture is going to happen. I love what Abraham says, is that when we feel bad, it's a good thing. it's a good thing because when we're feeling bad, it's showing us where we are not lining up with our soul. It's not where we're lining up with our potential. We're moving in a direction that's like not this way. It's like the hot stove. It doesn't feel good. No, not that way. Don't touch the hot stove. That's not the way. And so this is saying, this uncomfortable energy, this circle is saying, where are you still making decisions? Here's this indecision. Where are you still making these decisions that are keeping you stuck in this turmoil? And I think the first and foremost decision needs to be, where are you not necessarily nurturing yourself? Where are you not nurturing your creativity? Where are you not nurturing your harmony? Where are you seeking it outside of yourself? Because as long as you're seeking it outside of yourself, you're not getting into this. You're not getting into this place where these deep gifts that you have for the world exist. So this is our opportunity with this Libra energy, with this cross, and it might be the fiery energy that comes up with you through this cross energy. It may be some of these lessons that already start tumbling out with Chiron beginning its retrograde cycle that make you take a stand and say, no, I'm going to show up for myself. I'm going to stop leaving it on the world to make my decisions. I'm going to show up. I'm going to be good to me. Here, this is the Mother card. This is the Empress. And I believe Mother Goddess energy is always encouraging us, be you. Do for you what you need to do for you. We have to remember, and I think this is where we get so caught up and we forget, when we're being good to us, when we are honoring our truth, when we're honoring our soul energy, it helps everyone. It's a win-win for the world. There is enough. This goes back into that lesson of lack that came up with the first set of cards. There is enough for everybody. Everybody who's in the world has a place in the world, but we keep getting caught up like, oh no, I have to make appeasements and amendments to make the world work. We don't have to make the world work. We have to show up in our personal energy. So this is your job in this, is not to get caught up in the speed up, slow down, do anything that you're told to do kind of thing. What is true to you? How are you going to nurture that? It's really not about making this mental decision, but rather, this is the card, like falling into the heart of yourself, falling into the center of yourself. And this is what I have from the goddesses. Don't back down. Look at this fire. There will be fire coming through this energy. And it might be that moment that, I don't like the saying, but the breaks the camel back, that you're like, no, I'm taking a stand. This is what's true for me. This is how I am. This is how I live. This is what I'm going to believe. And this is how I'm going to move forward. I cannot any longer go about this push, pull, this, that, and the other, because it's making you want to, what I'm imagining with the Gaia's Garden and the Miser card. I have too many cards in my hand to, there we go. The Gaia's Garden and the Gaia's Garden and the Miser. It reminds me of like, it's so much energy that you just want to like tuck your head in the sand, like ostrich it and forget. And the universe is like, you can't do that anymore. No more ostriching. How are you going to show up? Nurture yourself through this. It's intense energy. It is intense. Like I said, Bridget, don't back down. And look at that fiery heart. Fiery heart energy. This is the energy that we want to tune into. And my feeling again, tuning into that sacral chakra energy, that Shakti energy coming up. Well, here the Shakti has reached the heart of the matter. And so this, I think I have Pele at the end of the week too. I have Pele somewhere. No, I saw her. Yeah, there she is. She's with the next transit. Pele's coming. So here comes this fire energy rising. This fire wants to drive us forward into ourselves. Libra's usually like peace, balance, harmony. Well, there may be a little bit of a stand being made in this peace, love, and harmony, because now the stand is for peace, love, and harmony in and through yourself. And for angel therapy, just to finish it off, crown chakra. Your crown chakra is being instigated. This is divine message. This is divine purpose. I think that's one of the things that we forget. It's like, oh, you get caught up in the world and the ways of the world. You came with a mission. You came with a job. And you're being guided in and through this. Do not worry. I think we're so like, I'm going to, freak people out. I'm going to throw things off, blah, blah, blah. No, you're being guided. Trust this guidance that you're receiving. You may feel it right in here, but trust this guidance that you're being receiving and trust it to move you in and through these transits. Nikki?
Well, it's, you said something and they made me write it down. So you said something. We don't have to make the world work, but it's your responsibility to make your world work.
Yes.
And so that's, they're like, pull yourself away from the world for a second and taking on other people's responsibilities and taking on all these different things. And it's your responsibility to make your world work. And it's not, there's a lot of things we cannot change, and we cannot change the past, and we cannot change the shit we went through, and we can't change that that has happened. But now as we get into, I have the innocence card in reverse, as we are out of the innocence or out of our childhood and all the things that have happened in our childhood, yes, we can't change that, but you can change the way that you respond to your life. And you can mature in this way instead of being held back and blaming our experiences, blaming the people. It is not your responsibility to heal the world. It's or your responsibility to heal yourself and make your life better. Make your decisions better. Even, I mean, it's not about being hard on yourself, because that's the tricky part. The mind wants to be hard on you, and then it reasons out why we do those things, and we go to the escapism. And like she said, burying your head in the sand. Burying our head in the sand is the escapism. So what are we trying to escape? There's a couple of things. I have the 5 of Cups, which is this is depression. And so it's in reverse. Now, what are we focusing on? That's the big thing. So what you have, what your choice is you can continue focusing on the spilt milk, but we have our back towards our, towards what's full in our life, what is working in our life. So if we're constantly focusing on what's not working, or what hasn't worked, or what people have done to us, or what we've done to other people, this guilt as well, we're not actually seeing. It's like I told my daughter this morning, I'm like, lose the attitude, find your gratitude. And I know that's kind of like a cliche thing, but sometimes we get into this moment where we are so hyper focused on all the bad things and what we can't control that we forget what we can, what is working for us. Okay, so it's changing the direction, changing your focus, because what we're focusing on is the place that we're headed to. And when I have a lot of pessimists in my life, and I see them kind of attracting the pessimism, because it's like, this always happens to me, this always happens to me, and then they get more of that same. But if we use our focus and we take responsibility of our focus, and we say, you know what, I allow good things to happen to me. I don't have to live that story, or that doesn't have to be my reality anymore. We start focusing on, well, maybe we can't get all the way to being an optimist, but we can go, you know what, I'm open to the opportunity, or I'm open to a new way of being, and I'm opening for good things to show up for me now. And when the bad things show up, it's not going in and plunging back down. It's going, okay, well, there's an echo. You had a bit of momentum, so you might still get a couple of things, that bad things will come, but keeping a faith, keeping a hope, keeping, so what I'm getting is keeping a strength. There is strength there, but have you taken ownership of your own strength? Have you taken ownership of your power? And with that, taking ownership of your gifts. Like Mimi said, there's a lot of things that we have to share with ourselves, share in our lives, but we haven't really taken ownership of our own strength. So if you haven't taken ownership of your own strength, of course you're not going to be able to give it to the world. You can't give it to yourself. And so give it to yourself first. What are your strengths? What are we focusing on? If you focus on the bad stuff, you're getting the bad stuff. But if you're focusing on your strengths, and you're focusing on what you bring to the world, you focus on what your abilities are, what's going to happen is your confidence is going to start going up, And you're not going to have all these bad things happening. You're not going to compromise yourself, if you will. And one of the things I'm getting, and there's a time to go. There's people, there's situations. It's time to just leave it behind. It's time to go. It's time to move forward from focusing on those things and really listening instead of to the mind, listening to the inner voice. It's time to go from this mental energy, from the addictions, from bad relationships, from abuse. It's time to go. And it's time to take care of ourselves and listen to ourselves and honor ourselves into what is possible for us. And that cross is going to try to confuse you a little bit. But again, anchor into your strength, anchor into your ability, anchor into your talent, anchor into what makes you you. Because as you begin to believe that for yourself, I know, I just watched the Lego movie. I know it sounds like a cat poster, but you have to believe. And you have to believe in yourself. Not believe in the world, not believe in anything else, but believe in yourself. And as you believe in yourself, then you'll be able to find that strength to and that courage to move forward in the decisions that you need to make. Because I have the schizophrenia card and the in-between worlds. It's like we haven't made the decision to really honor ourselves and move forward and make those tough decisions of leaving people behind or leaving the past behind. Even if we're scared, we have to do it anyway, because we're going to be making better decisions based off of more self-worth and self-compassion. Not compassionate to other people. We have to be compassionate to ourselves first.
I just have a little thing to say in line with all of this. It was a really big lesson for me. I was in a relationship for a really long time. And the biggest lesson that I got from it is you can never love somebody enough to make them love themselves. You've got to choose yourself. I was suffering by my own making by staying in this run relationship for so long, because I was like, oh, you would just love yourself. You would be so amazing. Like, come on, I love you. Let me show you how to love yourself. And I loved him and I loved him and I loved him even harder, and it was never enough. And meanwhile, it sucked everything out of me, and it was really sad for me.
And who suffered the most?
I suffered, like, and it really didn't, I don't know that it did anything for him, all the love that I poured in. Like, it was like I was pouring it into a sieve because there was no foundation of self-love in him. So you can never love somebody enough to make up for not loving themselves. And I'm not saying don't love these people, but just notice if you're pouring and pouring and pouring, and if you're like suffering.
And that's self-abuse. Kind of, you know what I mean? It's like self-abuse. It's like, why are we pouring so much into other people where maybe this, what Mimi could have done is taken that and did this and poured it on her. Because
well, that's what you start doing.
and then you found more strength in that. And it became more about your process than it became about his. Because we can't fix anybody else, unfortunately. We can't. But what we're giving is probably what we're needing.
Love that. Yeah. I think if this was Oprah, it would be, that's a tweetable moment. Tweet that out, right? Like, send that out right now. All right. Woo! And that sets us up for this next transit. We have Chiron going retrograde. So Chiron is right at the end of Pisces. Are you done, by the way?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, just making sure. Chiron is right at the end of Pisces. Chiron is at 28 Pisces, and it's like, here we go, retrograde. And like I said, Chiron retrograde along with Neptune retrograde, is taking us back. Chiron represents wounds. Chiron represents healer, heal thyself. We are all healers. We all have the capacity to heal. If you don't believe me, look and see where you scratched your knee when you were 5. It healed. You have a scar, but like there's skin there. You healed. We heal. We can heal physically, emotionally, mentally. All of these realms we can heal. And as Chiron is going retrograde, what are we doing? We are tuning in and we are healing. Now I've got an interesting card from the Wisdom of the Hidden Realms, which I got this deck out specifically for this transit. This was like, this is the deck for this. The Lady of Lightning. Surprises, sometimes shock, total paradigm shift. So I just told my story, like how I was, you know, in this relationship, giving all of this love to somebody who didn't love themselves. What did I need to get me out? Paradigm shift. My dad died. I always said it was my dad and Lala, because my dad died and then Lala escaped and ran around here for 6 weeks. That made me move. That got me out of that paradigm. And so this is what I'm getting with this Chiron retrograde. There is going to be a paradigm shift. There is going to be some change, sometimes shock. You know, stuff's going to happen. Not to mention, like I said, I told you I had Pele coming up. Here's Pele along with the shock. So this is some powerful energy. But I've actually got really good cards from Osho. I've got tuning in, going with the flow, awareness, rebirth, inner voice, and then blossoming. Look at this lineup of cards. Like, look at this pattern. Tune in. What do you need? Where do you need to heal yourself? Where are you giving to someone else or something else exactly what you need? Can you tune in? Can you build that foundation? This is a 4 card. Can you honor yourself? Can you nurture yourself? Can you give yourself that foundation? Move with this flow. This is the Ace of Cups. This is the beginning of love. Can you turn this fountain of love? Can you turn this river of love on yourself through this transit? Can you make a commitment through this transit? Just through this transit. So through the beginning of December, from 28 to 24 Pisces, can you give yourself the love that you've been giving to everybody else? Because what it's going to do, it's going to move you. This is the Chariot card. It's going to tear off some of these layers that you've been cocooning in, that you've been ostriching in, that you've been hiding in, that you've been trying to break through. What am I picturing? I'm totally picturing Jim Carrey. Oh my God. In that movie when he comes out of the elephant. Pressing. This is not a good image. But he's pressing through the plaza trying to escape from the elephant. Totally picturing that. But this is what that awareness is. Okay. Yeah. So we're breaking through these, you know, these layers, these veils that we've put on ourselves. It's part of our rebirth process to move into our strength, to listen deeper into inner voice. We are all connected. There's no one who is more connected than another. There are people who have clearer channels. There are people who work with their stuff more, but we are all connected. We have different skills, different talents. We're all connected. Listening in so that you may bloom. Queen of Pentacles. So this is really, really a beautiful transit, I believe.
I do too.
But Pele and the Lady of Lightning. These are, you know, both very Uranus-y, which is funny because it's Chiron. But lightning energy, you know, shock, the electricity, this fire, this volcanic action of Pele energy. Be honest with yourself. What's your heart's truest desire? Be honest with yourself. Where are you holding back your divine fire? Be honest with yourself. Where is it that you want to change? Be honest with yourself. Where is it that you need to heal? Nikki and I were talking about this a lot before. We were talking about the energy of the victim. And we all can go there. We've all been there. Whether, you know, something did something to us or we believe something did something to us, we can hold ourselves in this place. And then we get stuck there. We get stuck in these old paradigms. This is like, here's the chance for this breakthrough. And this shock may be, I'm playing a part in this. Nobody's doing this to me anymore. I'm stuck in this. And that may be where this breakthrough comes through, in just moving in and through that. And I'm going to let Nikki talk about this more. But in order to get there, you've really got to tune in. You've got to be willing to look. Where are you holding yourself in that? I can say that I was a victim of that ex-boyfriend because he didn't give me the love that I wanted. But how long did I stay in it? And how long did I keep giving to him exactly what I needed most? I had my big part in it, you know? It hurt me. I hurt me by staying in that. And so this is our chance. This to me, like I said, is going to be a really powerful thing. And this is the way the universe works. We show up or the universe pushes us into it. My dad, thanks Dad, was like, we got to get you out of this. And he helped me change that. And so I'm really grateful. But it was a pretty big paradigm shift that I'm still like finding my balance in and through. So be prepared. This Chiron retrograde is definitely here to shift us. But I love from, these are the nice, light, easy cards today. The angel therapy, earth angel, you're a light worker who's come to earth to teach about love. Reminds me of the crown chakra card. You're being supported. You're being guided in and through this. This all has purpose. Trust this. Trust your angels are also here with you as your earth angel self. You have your guides. You have your people. I'm going to tell a really cute little funny story, just really little, and then pass it on to Nikki. So I always say, George Michael, I added him to my guides when he left just because it felt right and because like I was so resonating with his song Freedom. So yesterday was his birthday. I woke up and somebody had been like, hey, it's his birthday. I put on my Pandora. First song is a George Michael song, Faith. Then I played another song. Next song was Wham! Wake Me Up Before You Go Go. And then another George Michael song. What was it? Freedom, my favorite one, Freedom. And I was like, oh, you've got me. And then later as I was driving to yoga, more George Michael on the radio. Like, he's there. Tune into your guides. Ask for their help. Ask for their support. You are not alone in this. We have support. So even as you're going through change, even as you need this healing, ask for support and ask for the signs because believe me, they do show up.
Yeah, I love that too because I also think, right, so I like the light worker card for this energy because every struggle that we go through and every empowerment that we find through our struggle is the gift that we give. Every time I've been through such that bottoming out, it sucks. And I'm going to just tell you, we got the bottoming out card. It sucks to be in it, and I get it, and it's hard to go through at the time, but that is what breaks us open to our own heart. It breaks us open to our empathy. It breaks us open to our vulnerabilities. And not vulnerabilities as weaknesses or the way that, you know, if we open ourselves up this way, maybe we're going to get hurt more. No, this is a breaking open to the self. It's a breaking open to the heart. And when our heart is so closed off or it's not opening to ourselves, like Mimi said, she was going through this, but in hindsight, what she was able to see is that she stuck herself in there. And what she was going through is her own self-worth stuff. And so then she could break herself open to be more loving to herself, to stand up for herself. And I know in my own situations in my life, and I'll tell a small story, is not, so I was on the opposite end. I was kind of the guilty party. I was the one that was doing this, the painful stuff to other people and reasoning out that it was okay. Like I was secretive and I was doing these things and I was leading people on. And the reason why is because I needed the support. He wasn't showing up for me in that way. So I'm going to find it and lie to him about it. And when I started taking responsibility and I bottomed out. I bottomed out for myself. And when I bottomed out, what happened is, woo, karma came in, smacked me on the butt, and everything that I had done to anybody else happened to me for a cycle of time. And then I got to feel the pain that I had caused. And it wasn't to punish me. It was to make me realize that my decisions did have an effect on people. And my reasoning or my victim did have an effect on people. But by going through that and fully taking responsibility of where I showed up and not blaming anybody else that's a big thing. It's so easy to blame somebody else for our lives not working. But there's something in there that it's not just us. It's not just us. And I do think that there's going to be a really beautiful transit on this because honestly, that shock she talked about, I think that the floodgates are going to open. So emotional floodgates, or like the shit's going to hit the fan a little bit. But also, it's not just, Chiron's telling me it's not just a cause for the shit to hit the fan. It's like a cause for celebration that the shit finally hit the fan. So you have an opportunity to get the F out. Because again, I got the time to go. So I'm sorry I'm kind of cursing, but it's like, to be honest with you, whatever this levee that might break for you is like, okay, now I finally, like the house flooded. Now I have an excuse to move. Yay! And so that's kind of what I'm getting. I also have the breathe card. Yeah, it might be intense. I have the intensity card. It might get intense, but just breathe through the intensity. It's not here to like make you go deeper into the victim, but time to go. And beyond that, the regeneration card. It's time to phoenix. It's time to have a rebirth. It's time to, I really love this. Yes, yes, yes. We might bottom out, but this is the opportunity itself to become more vulnerable, to break yourself open, and to be more loving with yourself. And finally make those decisions that are really going to help you get out of the victim, out of the addiction, out of the abusive relationship, out of the lack paradigm, or the like, my body doesn't feel good. Okay, well then we got to find different systems to help you, out of these different things, that you're not a full victim on this. You'll have a completion by the end of this cycle, and you're going to learn how to integrate different parts of yourself. Instead of rejecting yourself, rejecting the victim, you're going to learn how to break free, break through the victim, but then also how to reintegrate it as a piece of yourself, not as a victim, but as the child that tries to run the show that cannot do that anymore. And so now it's really taking a stand for yourself, or pouring that love and making more loving decisions, not for other people. I know that's a big one, especially for people who, are really loving. Sometimes we put ourselves last. This is like what are the decisions that are going to make your life more manageable, more, so there might be some foot downs sort of thing, and there might be some ultimatums with yourself and with other people. But again, it's not your job to fix anybody. So if the ultimatum has been set, it's not an empty threat. You have to do what you need to do for yourself. I hope that makes sense. They're just giving me some information of what, just like, rock bottom to break open.
Like what I pictured when you said rock bottom to break open, I pictured a geode breaking open. That's the miser card, bringing forth these jewels that are within.
Yeah. And I actually think there's going to be some really beautiful, but it's so funny because it's not just like a rock bottom for a rock bottom. It's a rock bottom to move to move up the ladder. Like, it's like, yeah, celebrate a rock bottom, because at the end of the day, you're not going any deeper, and you've learned the depth of that lesson. And in hindsight, you're going to go, yes, yeah, I learned the whole depth of that entire lesson. And then light worker, that's the light, that's the wisdom, that's the medicine you'll bring for other people when they're going through their rock bottom. My rock bottoms were gifts in hindsight, total gifts. It made me exactly who I am today. And I love them. They sucked at the time. It was a mess. But it was beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Exactly what I needed to go through.
There's somebody, I don't know who it is, but there's a quote from them that says, rock bottom is the foundation upon which I built my life. Like,
I love that.
Yeah, I don't know who's
a relatable moment.
Yeah, it's somebody out there. Rock bottom is the foundation from which I built my life. And, it's just like being a trampoline. You want that sucker to go all the way down so you can, like, rise up higher. And, every spiritual teacher who I've ever read their stuff, they all say, on this spiritual journey, there are the ups and downs. And you want to go down on the roller coaster, like, it's not a fun ride if it's just like this. We did not come to go on the kiddie rides that go around in a circle like this. We came for the full experience, and just God, I agree with Nikki. In that moment where you're like, ugh, I hate this. Can this just stop? But all of those moments, wow.
When you surrender to it, it's like, you know what? Just surrender. Throw your hands up and go, F it. We're going to rock bottom. But I don't, you know, the rock bottom, we might fear that, but rock bottom might be like, I don't know, the most empowering thing that you've ever been through in your entire life. Rock bottom is where we make that stand up and go, okay, what am I doing? Enough is a freaking enough now. Like, rock bottom is the depth of a lesson. Like, you are getting your mastery. Like, you are it's a brilliant thing. Like, don't fear the God, I love that quote. You know what? I have nothing else to say. It's that quote. Rock bottom is where I made the foundation of my life. Like, that's how I built the foundation of my life. And that's my truth too. That's when I hit rock bottom is when I became the teacher that I have become. Because I couldn't become a teacher as a victim.
Right.
I couldn't become the teacher as a victim. I had to move forward out of my victim to become the teacher.
Bam! Woo! This is all really powerful, and I'm like thinking, and you know, the wheels in Mimi head is turning, are turning. There's more than one. July. Here we are, July, pulling cards for July. So I have to say, my first little set of cards, it's all Nikki. I got Mawu, Mother Earth, Power Animal, Whale, the Swan Queen, Transformation. Look at these cards. I'm like, here you are giving birth in July. But I also have the same thing Nikki has. The floodgates are opening. The floodgates are opening in July. And based on what we were just talking about, I want to actually just advance a little bit into July. The full moon that we're having in Capricorn. Capricorn energy. My focus for Capricorn is how are you showing up? What is your responsibility? How are you showing up into this world? I do think that that's going to be a pretty defining moment in through July. It's going to be a big full moon. What is it? The 9th, I believe. It's going to be a big full moon because the full moon is basically going to be conjunct Pluto. I believe the full moon is at 17 degrees, and we have Pluto right there at 18 degrees. Pluto is that major transformation energy. And here it is. The lightest light, the darkest dark, the empowerment. Your empowerment is happening through you showing up, just to bring that through line of what we were just talking about. So there may be some floodgates, like Nikki said, with that Chiron thing, through July. Floodgates opening. Here we have sorrow. But like, let it rain. Man, I wish it would rain down. Let these things pour. You need to feel it to heal it. You need to move through these energies. You cannot keep holding back. I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm okay. You're not okay. And it's okay that you're not okay. And it's okay that you're going to feel. And this is part of your birthing process to bring it full circle. Nikki's having a baby, and the rest of us are having emotional tidal waves.
Which is enough. Babies do bring that, because after you, a lot of women know that as soon as you have that baby, your hormones go woof, and it's like baby blues and postpartum and
That feels so unfair to me. I think that there's got to be a better way with that, because like that's like you have a baby and now you're gonna feel this. Come on, universe, fix this. Come on. This doesn't make sense in my brain. But anyways, we are moving through our transformation process. And like I said, that full moon is going to be a very powerful full moon. The Swan Queen, you know, and look at the lesson of the swan, the ugly duckling. The ugly duckling was a swan, but he was like, I'm so ugly. I don't know my worth. I'm this ugly thing. I'm this ugly thing. And then it transformed into this beautiful energy. And that to me is what this July process is going to be about. We're not holding back anymore. We're full on in this process of coming into this beautiful divine energy. But it's coming through this kind of process where we stop, where we notice where we're holding back. We stop that. We let the tidal waves come through. But I love this because here we have Mother Earth surrounding you, supporting you. And I was reading the Mawu thing. She's actually a moon goddess, which is funny that she's Mother Earth energy. She's a moon goddess, moon energy, the feminine, the emotional, the yin, the receptive, the dark. It is supporting you in and through this process. Not to mention, you are supported. You are supported by Mother Earth energy. You are supported by the mother. You are supported by the great goddess Mother energy, whether under your feet or surrounding you at all times. You've got to know that and allow yourself to be held as we move through this process, because it is a bit of moving from the ugly swan into knowing our divinity, moving into that energy. And I love that I've got power animal as well. Call on, like, that's, to me, all of these angel therapy cards are like, call on all the support you have out there. Call in animals, guides, angels, Mother Earth. Please all come in and support me. Show me that I'm supported. I think one of my favorite moments in my life was a moment I was going through, like, one of the rock bottoms. I was at the beach. I was sitting there, my head down, like, I feel awful. I don't feel connected. Everything feels hard. I was like, universe, please show me how connected I am. I look up. Dolphins go swimming by, joyfully leaping out of the water. And I was like, oh my God, I am connected. Oh my God, the universe is looking after me. And I think we may have some of those moments where we need to have that in and through July. It feels a little intense. And like I said, I've been talking about in my horoscopes, July is gonna have some intense moments to move through. It's okay. Feel it. It is not just happening to you. It is happening to everybody on some level or another, whether they're showing it or not, because a lot of people are still really stuck in this rigidity. I'm not going to show I am a robot. Everything's perfect in my life. Just because they're showing that does not mean that that's the case. And you do not have to be there. Let the floodgates rain. Let it all come out, because this is a part of the process of you unveiling, revealing the deeper, fiery, wonderful, passionate part of yourself. This is part of your personal giving birth experience. Woo, July. Nikki?
Yeah. It's so weird because there's two different things coming with this. I mean, I have the chaos and conflict, and then I have happy. Like, it's like, it's like the chaos and conflict are bringing the happy. So you got to trust the process, and it might not make logical sense, but the chaos and conflict is leading to happy. So you just got to go with it. It's, you know what? It's kind of like having a baby, right? So you know you're going to go through labor. You know you're going to go through like this chaos and conflict in your body. And also, you know, as a woman who's been through it before, you kind of feel like, okay, I'm going to go through the crying baby process, and then, you know, getting the foundation goes through upheaval. But at the end of the day, you have a baby. Like, you have this baby, you have this new being to love. And so that's kind of the energy I'm getting. And I think that's why she got a lot of the Mother Earth energy, is like through and Pele and all of this, the regeneration. That sometimes destruction happens to have creation. Some things have to break down for other things to be birthed. And so what I'm getting is, yes, maybe you're not going through that birth energy like I am, like as a physical thing, but something will be, you will have a rebirth. I have the rebirth and then the integration card again. So it's like we are going through a bit of the cocoon breaking open, like we talked about last week, or you have to crack an egg to get the meat of it. It's like there's something that needs to be cracked open for us to actually get to this new place. And I'm getting a little bit of energy around. So I have the Fool card in reverse, meaning there's you don't have to let it all go for the rebirth. Like, it's like, it almost feels like, I know, okay, a divorce without getting a divorce. So it almost feels like the foundation of something, there's a foundation in your life that will break to create something new, to create a new adventure, to create a new perspective, to create a new relationship paradigm. But you have to follow your own truth here. Like you have to take ownership with this, because I'm really getting in July that yes, there will be chaos and conflict, but if you trust this higher power, like she said, is call upon all these different things, that you don't have to worry for too much longer. It will bring a happy. There will be a lot of change, but it will still bring a lot of happy. So there is like a silver lining on this. And they're like, don't worry. Yes, this is coming and it will break. And it's like, but it's like, it's breaking a paradigm structure to get something new for you. I know it sounds so weird. I don't even know what it means, to be honest with you, because the chaos and conflict and the happy, it's like, what is that? But it's like, trust it. If something's breaking free, take a breath, have that faith, and allow it, because I think right on the other side is going to, you must, to have a rainbow, you must have the rain, right? So it's like, you'll get the rainbow, but you gotta go through the rainstorm. That's okay. It'll happen. It'll turn out better in the long run. You'll see.
It'll be okay. It's intense, but it'll be okay.
It's called life. I don't know. I'm just getting like a lot of life. So we're going to be dealing with a lot of life in the next month. I don't know. I'm literally getting a lot of life in the next month.
I tell you, one of my friends, my friend Alexandra, I talk about her often. I share her videos. She was like, you should get a reading. You should get a reading because, you know, July might be a little bit intense. It might be a little hard for you, but I promise good things are coming. Like, it's leading for the happy. Like, she literally just, you know, she likes to say she pulls things out of her ass. So she pulled it out and she was like, it's going to be okay. It's just, you know, just to get you through like the first part of July until Leo, like, and so that's what I'm getting. I'm like, oh, okay, chaos and conflict to happy. So I got that as a personal reading for myself. Just, you know, just that. It was just basically the same thing. Like, whoo, keep the faith. It's all good. Let the floodgates go. Yeah. Ready for the next?
This is a long one, but there was a lot of stuff.
Hence why, like, sometimes we're like, it's all good. And this is like, wow. But July is kind of wow. These are some wow transits.
We have cardinal crosses, Mimi. You know, it's like, of course we're going to have things breaking apart. I mean, the last time I went through this major cardinal cross was in 2014, and me and Ryan almost got a friggin' divorce. So, I mean, it was, but through that horrible, rough time, me and him became stronger than ever, and I went through the maturity that I had to go through, and he started taking ownership of himself and you know, really stepping up as a man and as a father. And me, I started taking responsibility even more, and so it's that cardinal cross really freaking sucked. And everybody I knew was like, yeah, we almost got a divorce. We were together for 26 years and we almost got a divorce through that time. So it's like, you might go through something like that, but it's not going to, like, that's cardinal cross energy. It just is what it is.
It is what it is. It's intense. It's intense energy. And the cardinal signs, they're like the foundational signs, you know, there are pillars. And right now, one of the things that I say, and I feel like I've said this on GPS, so if I said it before, I'm sorry, and I'm saying it again, one of the major things that's going on with Capricorn energy, this full moon that we're building to in Capricorn, with Pluto going through Capricorn itself is structure. It is structure, it's rules. So with Pluto going through, what we have going on is there's some who are like upholding the pillars right now. And there's some who are like digging out this foundation to change it all around. And then there's some who are like holding and digging all at the same time. And so we've got this going on for all of us, and not even talking about like where Capricorn is in your chart. For all of us in this world, this is happening. The structure of things is changing, which means we have to show up and change our personal structure, how we're showing up. Are you showing up in alignment with you? And this is a major part of this cardinal cross, cardinal square energy. How are you showing up in these new structures? And are you honoring your structure, your internal main structure, which is that of your soul? And so all of this is just like going back to the soul, right? It's like the big arrowed signs like soul, 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 soul source within. That's it. Nothing else matters. Soul, find the soul. So, it's intense. So, speaking of that, our final aspect this week is the moon in Scorpio. So, moon in Scorpio, sun in Cancer, these retrogrades in Pisces, and trine water energy will be coming on, flowing on in, working us. And I think the card that I want to start with is the release card. You know, Scorpio energy is death, rebirth. Ultimately, it's all about the empowerment. You know, it's really about stepping into your power. So recognizing through this transit, and this may be part of all the things that we said before, what is it that you need to release? What is it that you're holding on to that no longer serves your body, mind, spirit, soul, that no longer serves your structure purpose, that no longer serves you stepping fully into your power? Because that's what it's taking us into, is us fully stepping into our power, into our blossoming, into our blooming. And like I said, the intuition energy is going to be strong. So you might hear the thing, I need to let go of this. And you're like, what? No, that's not going to help me if I let go of this. Tune in, listen. Honor this super, super psychic, tuned in, tapped in, turned on energy. I've been getting so many messages in my dreams. I was talking to Nikki all night last night in my dreams, which was really cute. We were talking about what's going to happen after the baby and how we continue and move on. Like, we talked about that for hours in my dream last night. So I was like, oh, yay, how cute. And then she woke up and, well, not woke up, but when we talked, she was talking about that too. I'm like, here we go. You are tuned in, tapped in, turned on. Listen to what's coming up. What is it that you need to let go of at this time? Now, what I have, where do I go next with the cards? I have the Web Weaver. I love this card. Synchronicity, divine intelligence, cause and effect. Cause and effect has definitely been a topic, a through line of this energy. One of the things that it says, when you need to make a connection like magic, synchronicity occurs. This is a sign to trust in the connectivity between all events. Magic is afoot for you. The universe is working for us. Things are happening for us, through us, but you've got to do your part. And part of your part in and through this energy, there's something that you need to let go of. I don't know if it's an idea. I don't know if it's
an idea. I think it's a fantasy. It's an idea.
The fantasy. It's a fantasy. Here we go.
I have it too. That's what, yeah, it's a fantasy. It's an idea.
Wow. Interesting. Let that go, because there's something better for you coming through for you in and through this energy so that you can blossom. But this thing, it's keeping you.
Are you kidding me? I have the same ones. Yeah.
I love it as the card talks about magic and synchronicity. Ta-da! Here we go.
It's that weird thing. I'm getting this energy around, like the weird thing around like the fantasy and illusion versus like that real Piscean energy. What is God? What do we think is God? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I think that it could come around a lot of things, but you know, the last card from the goddesses, I have Ostara, fertility, but my feeling is whatever this thing is, it's become this block, this thing that you need to release. It's become this block that's like stopping, because you're like, it's like, hold on lightly, that song, just hold on loosely or hold on lightly. You can't receive with a closed fist. You're holding them so tight that you aren't receiving anything. You're not allowing this magic to come in. So it's like this thing, whatever it is, that needs to be released. Just let it go. Let the universe handle it and see what's going to happen, because that's what's going to lead to this blooming, being able to let it go. I have sorrow in reverse. Like, I feel like it's not going to even feel all that bad for you to let it go. Like, I think it may actually feel like a relief. Because it feels like the control stuff, which is also Scorpio, Moon and Scorpio. We get the control. I'm going to control this. Oh, you have control. Wow, she's the control card, which you can't see. But yeah, we get into that control mode. I'm going to control this. I'm going to make this happen. And like we're like with a jackhammer, like, you know, trying to make all the things happen. Stop it. Let it go. Release that so that the universe can do its work, because you're like this and you cannot receive when you're like this. You cannot bloom when you're so coiled up like this energy. This is your opportunity. Use this Scorpio energy. Phoenix this energy. Release this and step into the true power of receptivity, and then let the universe, the magic, the synchronicities of the universe put everything into place the way it needs to be, instead of you trying to like control it, force it, make it happen. I'm going to give it to Nikki since she has all the cards.
Yeah, I have the same thing, to be honest with you. I mean, it's very, very similar to that. It's like, okay, well, we have, so I want, you know what, I'm going to go specific on this because I'm getting specific cards. I'm getting, and it can come to you in whatever way that you're working through this right now. It's a dream. It's a fantasy about how a man needs to show up. Okay, so it could be around, like mine is, Ryan is trying to figure out what he wants to do as a career so he can be the provider. Now, as the baby comes through, I'm doing it based off of mine so you can kind of get an idea where I'm going with this. So as a baby comes through, he wants a kid, he wants to be a provider. So he's having a really hard time trying to figure out what that means for him, because he had this fantasy version in his head because he didn't have a really good father to mirror that to him, to understand what that provider, what that man feels like. And as women, we might think that this man has to show up for us in a way. And because of that, we felt like we've either we compromise ourselves to try to get that. It almost feels like it's not even in our power. It's like the more that you step back from their process and not compromise yourself and allow them to figure it out and not try to be in control, and the only thing that you need to focus on is yourself and focus on your own blossoming, focus on what nurtures and supports you, is going to do this. Because I think if you're going to rely on somebody else for this energy, it's going to be more poison than medicine. And so you can't feed them their medicine anymore. You got to let them figure out what their medicine is and tend to the nurturing of your own self. And I have this milk and honey card in reverse. And I really want to read this again because it goes back to addiction. So this could be a codependency addiction. That's the one I had. You know, I mean, that one's tricky because you want to love and blah, 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 but then it gets into codependent. Anyway, so let me go into the milk and honey one because I really like what it had to say, and this is what we'll end with. A nameless unease compels you to turn to pleasure and comfort as a means to escape what is really going on. There's the fantasy. There's the escapism. There's the addiction. So it might be the food, or it might be the whatever that may be. It might just even be the fantasy. You keep going. Your obsession is the fantasy, is this ideal relationship. It works in the moment, but it's only fleeting. Before the feeling returns and you feel like you need to re-up until you're exhausted. Feeling worse than before, you may continue to struggle, or you may see the light and choose to surrender to spirit. Now is the time for practicing extreme self-care, this blossoming energy. If you can, do so before you engage in behaviors you'll regret later, like we talked about before. Do it before the universe makes you do it, right? You are so loved, so cared for. Feel the love and compassion for yourself. I said that. Have compassion for yourself. Turn your troubles over to the divine for healing, and that's all that counts right now. And there's a deep knowing. It's giving me that hit, like whether it's in relationship or whether it's in food addiction or whether it's in drug addiction or alcohol addiction or chocolate addiction. What they're saying is that hit will only let you happen. It's like talking to somebody and you get that hit, that adrenaline rush. There was this guy that I was really attracted to, and I liked having his validation. And he was like, every time I talked to him, I'd get the hit for a moment and then I would crash really freaking hard afterward because it was not something that served me really. So it was like I get a hit from him, but they would only last a certain amount of time, and then it would just crash me out. So you got to be going back to that addiction inventory. What do we do that makes us feel really high and then crashes the crap out of us and then makes us compromise our true happiness? And it really is what it keeps going back to is we got to stay grounded in reality, stay grounded in reality, do our physical work, do the work. You know, it's like one of those things they're kind of giving me, like, don't take the easy way out here. Like if you're in a weight loss journey, don't get the lap band if you haven't done any, you know, like don't get the surgery if you haven't done any of the foundational work that's going to not make you continue the food addiction. So if you're going to get that lap band surgery, get on a certain diet and know that you'll take care of yourself after you have that. It's not about not doing it. It's about you have to allow yourself, and I know I'm going on a tangent, like be real about it. Like stay in reality about it and really do the work. And as you do the work with getting a little support, then it becomes this new lasting foundation. Do the work in your relationships. Do the work on your body. Do the work on your business, but do it in reality. Don't try to take the easy way out here because I'm telling you, it's not going to last. It's only going to be a hit. You're only going to get that hit, you know, and then it's going to swing you right into depression. It's going to swing you if you're not actually doing the physical work. And again, you can't rely on that other person. You have to do it for yourself. That's why I get this. That's why I got this. Same card. You got to do it for yourself. And it's okay, you know. I mean, if you can't rely on this person, but you know what? Once you let that go, once you let that person go, what the beauty of that is they might be able to show up for themselves because you're not holding space for them anymore. Or they get to figure it out in the way they want to figure it out, and you don't have control over the way they figure it out. And hallelujah, because maybe you don't know what's right for them. Maybe your path was different for them. So let them figure it out and then become empowered, and then they can show up for you in the way that they need to show up for you, not in the way that you think they should. I hope that makes sense.
It does. I think it's perfect.
Okay.
I also say, side note, milk and honey baths are so decadent and wonderful. I actually choose coconut milk and honey. Oh my gosh, smoothest, softest, best skin ever. So just side note on your pampering, taking care of yourself, that came through so strong. Like that's the best. And I also like to add in fresh rose petals from the roses outside. I feel like Cleopatra when I take those baths. And I'm not like a bath person. I can't sit in the water like forever, but that I'm like, oh yes. This is luxury. This is luscious. And I like it a lot. So I recommend that. Total side note. To help you in your blossoming. Because if we are queens or kings, we should treat ourselves as such. So.
Exactly. And that's way better than drinking yourself to death. Goodness.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Go nurture your body instead of, you know, like, you might feel better when you're drinking because it numbs it out, but as soon as you wake up with a hangover, you're not going to feel better. I promise you that. So that's kind of the energy. It's like, well, the milk and honey bath will be so much more nurturing than like drinking your sorrows away or whatever the heck it is for you. I don't know. Everybody has something different. We all have our own little thing that we like to do.
I think it's you know, one of those things. That which nurtures you will always comfort you. That which comforts you will not always nurture you. So choose the nurturing. Let that be your goal. I'm going to nurture myself and know that that will comfort you. Even if it's not the old familiar chocolate or whatever. And again, I'm not saying no to chocolate because that would just be inhumane. But like, do the work alongside the chocolate and let the chocolate be a supplement to your work rather than the crutch. Moderation. And if you can't
handle moderation right now, then you got to choose. Then you have to choose. You know, there's some people that have to go cold turkey on things, and that's fine. And then there are some that don't. Me, with when I stopped binge drinking, I had to stop drinking completely for like 2 years. And then when I bowed back to it, I had a completely different relationship with it because I had done my inner work. And now when I drink one glass of wine, I was like, oh, yeah, I'm good, I'm done. And there is no craving for me to like drink like I did. I used to drink till I blacked out. But that was because I had social anxiety. That's because I didn't feel, it was a social thing. It was really, really weird. It was also a pain thing. I would get really angry. So I would let my anger out when that would come up. That was my permission slip. But because I dealt with my anger, there was nothing behind it. So when I went back to drinking, there was not that hungry ghost that Mimi was talking about. There was no more hungry ghost. I had dealt with my hungry ghost. And so there was no, that ghost in my ear going, drink more, drink more. I didn't have that. But that was my process. I don't know how that's going to work out for you.
So there we go, full circle. Full circle to this week. Well, I was so excited that you were able to be here, even though there's no baby yet. We'll be soon, you know, in her own timing.
Well, she's like, maybe I'll come as a cardinal cross, and that'll be my lesson. I'm like, really? That's what you want to do? All right, whatever.
Oh, I really look forward to seeing her chart. Woo.
Me too. We'll see.
I know. So I know you don't have anything going on. I have my $44 reading sale. One more week. Spirit was like, one more week. There's somebody, and I keep saying, there's somebody who's sitting on the fence. Book the reading. It's going to help you somehow. I don't know how, but like, I was ready to be done like a while ago, and Spirit's like, no, not yet, not yet. So I have this for one more week. Next Sunday, taking it off. I'm taking it off almost as of July 2nd.
Whoever you are, book the reading so Mimi can finally shut down.
I can close down the sale. So that is it for us this week. That is it for me. Thank you for joining us. Woo. And I will be here with you all through July, and Nikki will be with you as long as she can be.
Well, you know, yeah, you might not have me, but we'll see. We'll see what I do. I don't know what's going on. I don't know anymore. But take care of yourselves. I will be self-nurturing, that's for sure. So,
all right, love you, and who knows what will happen next week. Namaste.
Namaste.